Weibo suggests that they've got something specific planned. There's Orianna, so both the mid laners have been taken off the board. And we say, you know, we've teased the Victor Akali matchup. Maybe that's something that we'll look at a little bit later on. But I feel like taking that Victor early is opening you up for a Jarvan from BLG.
It feels like you almost have to, right? Because you're going to put Xiaohu on something that, A, isn't really meta, or B, something he hasn't played a lot of. We are going to take Xin Zhao, though. Generically powerful jungler. You can, you know, good bridge jungler for if you want to have some late game shenanigans. If we really want to go late again, we can do that.
And now you're looking at, you know, Jarvan, Nocturne, as well as a potential combo that we've seen a little bit of in the latter half of a best of three. Your Renekton blind into the top lane for Bin does open up for a potential AP jungler if you're looking for a Karthus, looking for a Nidalee, for example, Zyra as well, if we want to go really, really deep. But the Victor gets locked in, so we're not necessarily as worried about that anymore. I do like that the Victor gets taken by Knight. This is the one pick left, it feels like, for mid lane. And now we're going to have to see Xiaohu delve just a little bit deeper.
Yeah, you know, he's played a little bit of Syndra. He's played a little bit of LeBlanc. We are going to see a Jace lock in. I wouldn't imagine he's going to play Jace mid, but you could theoretically be a flex, I guess. It's not something that we see too much anymore. Okay. Ryze is available, so they will go ahead and lock in Ryze. So we've got some strong solo lane potential, especially split pushing.
I feel like this falls into the same pitfalls that the Annie does, in that the Ryze is a very mid-ranged champion, where the Victor can space you out with lasers and with the gravity well as well. So still favour this for Knight, but I don't think that Xiaohu's in a necessarily awful position as the game gets later and later. I do think, though, that this Jace lock-in from Breathe is very risky. He's going to have to be very in control of his lane, or he's going to have to control Tian significantly, because this Renekton Sejuani duo is just going to repeat dive you, over and over again. It's really easy. It's not going to be difficult for them. They can save Arctic Assault to drop aggro as well, and they're going to have the damage to be able to just one tap you under the turret.
Just make sure you're warding well and anticipate. Hey, can I get Dove here? And if the answer is yes, maybe cut and run. The Italian Stallion getting locked in. You saw the stats down there, 3-0. The KDA of almost 20, bro. I know it's only 3 games, but that's still impressive.
He's a frontliner, like 19.3 KDA on a Sejuani. Hell yeah, I'll take that after 3 games. That's very, very solid.
You're probably winning.
Yeah, exactly. As the bot side fight, though, it's our AD carries, our supports, which are getting pinched. You can see that Ezreal taken off the board. Corki, I think, is the big AD that I'm looking at right now as something that probably Elk wants to try to take. And then those supports, honestly, they've been pinched quite a lot. I'm still looking at a Poppy that could be picked up or taken by some side if they want to try and play that support or disengage style. Braum as well still exists. Still got Bard if somebody wants to try and take that. We've seen a couple of Bard games from Crisp. But the Corki actually taken out of the contention by BLG. So we'll see what it is that they've got in mind for their 4th pick. And they saved AD carry counter pick for R5 last time round, and we'll see if they do that again.
I love that Braum shout that you just had, because Braum Sejuani is just so difficult to play against. It is so hard. We'll see if they want to save that one in the back pocket. It feels like the AD carry pick might be a little better here. Victor lasers and Jin roots. That's pretty good.
It's a really good follow-up engage as well. It's really good, like, non-committal engage. Like, if you just find somebody sat mid lane and you can just fish with a laser, then Deadly Flourish connect, all of a sudden you've got a Sejuani hoppering over the wall at you as well. It's very clear for BLG that their composition wants to get to the late game for Knight, but that they've got some really good bridging capabilities with a really powerful early game AD in the Jhin, and then with Renekton, most importantly, being that dominant force in the early stages of this game. Question for Weibo, though, is what do they want to answer the Jhin with? They've got the Bard locked in, so that's Crisp's Bard being locked up and ready to try and really counter the Jhin, counter the Victor, 2 immobile AD carry or 2 immobile carries in the backline that could get locked up by that Tempered Fate.
We'll see if they go for a little bit more of a self-sufficient AD carry, or, you know, you could always think about this Misfortune, who will make sure that you have push in the bot lane, allow Tian to have a good time, and by virtue force attention down in this bottom lane potentially.
I think that this... I think Senna would have worked. I don't mind Misfortune either, though. This is a very sort of straight line front to back composition, and We'll see whether or not this ends up getting a good purchase for Weibo, like a good outcome, I should say, as On locks it in. So Blitzcrank in game number 3 for On in 2 crisps barred. Very hit or miss champion. Blitzcrank, quite literally. You hit the hook, you can do well. You miss the hook, you are useless. Yeah, and there's some champions that, you know, especially with the damage or really lack thereof that you'll have early on out of, you know, the 4-man conglomerate. You can pull some of these champions for Weibo and it's bad news. But the good news is, if you manage to do it in a fight, you are blowing up everybody on Weibo. I just do not think that they will be tanky enough to survive getting hooked by On. My theory is if they hook anyone that isn't Crisp, is that Crisp is going to Tempered Fate and reset the fight like that. That could be a tool that Weibo look to use. So, yes, in the lane, I can see Blitzcrank is the answer to Bard, right? You pull in the Bard, nice and easy, one-shot him, take him down. But in these mid to late game situations, you pull somebody that isn't the Bard. Crisp, if he's fast on it, can try to stop that engage and try to send them golden as well. I'd be curious as to how that interaction ends up working out, but really like what both of these teams have drafted. If anything, a little bit more favor toward BLG just because they've got some more stable scaling in their back pocket with a Victor who I think is going to be quite happy in this game without too much threat on that back line. So I'm a little bit curious as to how they plan to kill Knight in this third and final game. Very heavily reliant on Crisp, I think, and those Tempered Fates. Tempered Fate, Realm Warp. Yeah, I think that's it. You're just Realm Warping multiple people onto him. Yeah, Realm Warp is a very good shout, to be fair. Yeah, catch him by surprise, though. That's the problem, because if you just Realm Warp and everybody's around, they're just going to be like, all right, well, let's wait for him to get there as we... Oh, are we... Hold on. Oh. Level 1. Oh, shit. Blitzcrank. Let's go. What do we see? Uh-oh. This is a fight. Hello! This is not good. On is already forced to flash. He got stunned! He got stunned! The heal is out, too. Can they take him down? The Rune Prison is not going to be enough. A really good start for Weibo. Okay, so importantly there, Xiaohu starts with W for the laning phase, so Knight is going to be a little bit safer up until that level 2 marker, most likely. And On did burn double summoner spells, which means that the bot lane Blitzcrank is going to be a little bit less impactful for the first few minutes in the game. All right, there's a lot of opportunity here for BLG to continue their undefeated runs on champions, specifically Bin and Breathe as well. So it's very fitting that these two guys are both undefeated, the guys that we talked about as our matchup to watch. We didn't really get to see that too much in Game 2. Saw quite a bit of it in Game 1, and I imagine Game 3 will be much of the same. Tian, know that he's spotted on that, but there are pings on the buff that say that he knows it's there. Remember, Blitzcrank started W. This guy is doing nothing in the lane. We need to re-emphasize that Crisp and Light have no threat right now. The Blitzcrank is just going to attack speed steroid and hit them a little bit faster. We'll run a little bit faster. Bro is he's just standing there menacingly. That's exactly what's happening. But without the threat of that hook, it's tough to take advantage of Jin's 4th shot. That is really the one time that you're like, all right, well, let's look for a hook for some really solid damage here. Let's get a 4th shot. Let's get a root, you know, a knock up, and then all of a sudden you're reloaded and ready to go. Crisp already on a wander here. Going to look to try and spot out the route or the pathing more so of Shadow. As there's a world where just because you've got a ward on the Raptor pit doesn't mean that BLG Jungler couldn't have played by skipping the Raptors. Now he knows the timing. Tian looking to invade once again. That ward just expired a few times over. Shadow skips his red, so he's not going to give Tian that opportunity, but I mean, we saw Shadow be the sociopath in game number 1 where he just flashed and stole the scrubs. Maybe we'll see it again, but this time reversed. Yeah, his turnabout is potentially fair play. It looks like we're going to see an actual fight over these things. Trying to just pull it away, make sure he's secured. It is secured by Shadow, but getting the little ones will be very beneficial for Team. Yeah, this is a really important sort of situation where you have to remember that the little ones also very important, whereas Tian now can use his smite to secure the whole big red buff and get a lot more experience for on this. Yeah. Yep, pretty nice stuff there. Able to at least disrupt the camp. The question is,
Can BLG actually do anything back? Knight is down the level right now. He is going to get rooted up. Tian, let's get a little bit closer. When becomes lightning will not connect, but it does force the flash out of Knight. Shadow is forced away, and now we see potential roam coming in as Chris wants to get there. He's going to use the portal over the wall, and they have found Knight, and Tian will get credit for that one for first blood.
Yeah, Wind becomes lightning and Victor becomes dead as he falls in the mid lane. It's a really nice little gank from Crisp. It's going to be netting that bot side crab for Tian as he has to cross back over to his top side. He's got his entire top side jungle to go clear. So it's a little bit of a weird path for him, but hopefully he'll be able to make the most of it. He should just look to help Xiaohu out. And I mean, Tian's going to get a boatload of experience because he sponges some from mid lane, going to clear his entire top side, took some of the small Krugs, and took the red buff away from Shadow. It's a really good spot for the Weibo Gaming jungler to be in. And as long as Shadow in the next minute doesn't make a massive play that neutralizes that, this is giving Tian a really good window into the game.
Without a doubt, and we know that while Sejuani is a low econ type champion, losing out in your camps, getting further away from level 6 is tough. Such an impactful ultimate makes ganks a lot easier. And we did talk about how, as BLG, you want to make sure that you're really getting the opportunity to dive a guy like Breathe and set him behind. We're going to see Shadow show up here on the bottom side. We're going to look to slow up Chris, but the root's going to be there too. He's trying to get the portal over, but it's short, which means On was not able to gauge it properly on the hook attempt.
Yeah, that was a bad portal, but he manages to get out either way. On with a 9-9 Blitzcrank performance. He is literally 50-50 with it.
Hit or miss.
So far as...
I guess they never miss, huh?
Well, I think the whole point of the stat, Yanni, might be that it does sometimes miss. It's a bit of a pocket pick for him, but it's not one that's got the big stats to back it up, you know?
Maybe it shouldn't be after this point in time, right? 9-9 is like a, hey, the angle is really good here. Maybe not like a total pocket pick. You got holes in your pockets, bro. It's time for some new pants.
If Blitzcrank's good, Blitzcrank's good. Doesn't mean that the player has to be good at Blitzcrank.
This is true.
The takeaway, right? And maybe on, maybe the 20th game we'll start to see the big development. Maybe this game as well. This is number 19. We'll see. He could end up having that 1v9 Blitzcrank performance. He won the MVP for game number 2, so
riding that high.
That's something, yeah.
Really shouldn't have, but he gets it all the same. You see both supports showing up in the mid lane to help out. Hook is going to land on the Crisp. Tian is waiting in the wings, but much ado about nothing in the end. We do see Dragon available, but again, it is a Cloud Dragon, which means it'll likely be available for a long time.
True. That's unfortunately I guess the
problem.
Right?
Tian's in a little bit of a pickle here. Knockup is there. He's going to get stunned multiple times. There's the permafrost. Knight is in good position here. Tian doesn't have flash up. He's just trying to run. The knockup on the Shadow. Chris trying to keep him alive, and he does. The question is, how's the rest of the fight going to go? Xiaohu going to be the next target. He goes over, but he gets stunned by the permafrost. He's still alive, but so low, and Weibo eluded the grasp of BLG.
All right, well, okay, that's fine. Again, we're seeing some questionable plays as Ben and Breathe duke it out on this top side.
You're so done with this game already, bro. 7 minutes
Hey,
in.
man, they're playing League of Legends, and that's what's important here.
They look like Flex Q.
They're really trying, and I think that's what's important, I still think that some of the decisions being made don't make sense to me. That doesn't mean that they are bad, These guys play competitive League of Legends. I talk over competitive League of Legends. That's the caveat that I always give to people, is that
right.
if they see something that I don't, that's fine. Sometimes I'm going to meme them for it, though.
Yeah, we don't... contrary to popular belief, we don't always have all the context. Now, one thing that is important to note is that we have Grub coming up in 10 seconds. And both of these squads probably happy to get these Grubs. I do wonder where we're going to see these junglers set out on. Both of them are currently on the bot side, but with no camps up for Tian. See if he's actually here to cover Xiaohu, because this is going to be a problem soon. Shadow landing that ultimate flush. The question is, can Xiaohu actually find a way out? Desperately running to Tian, but his flash is up. The Realm Warp is going to be used, but is not going to get him out, as the Meek have been called.
Like that timing from Xiaohu there. He recognizes what CC can come through and knows that that's his only way to get out to safety. Unfortunately, Q comes back up from Bin, and it does net a nice quick kill on the bot side. This is the power that a Sejuani can give you, and I will highlight quickly this is Spellbook Sejuani, as Breeze maybe falling the same fate on the top side.
Alright, like this attempt here, but Breeze, they just don't have the damage to actually kill him. We talked about the Jin Jace combo. It's just not enough.
Now let's take a quick look at all the damage that Jin has built up. Ah, yes.
What?
Cullen-plated steel caps. He's pumping the damage, everybody. No wonder they couldn't kill him.
What if he threw the steel caps? They are capped.
That'd do more damage. It would do more.
Take a look at the picture-in-picture. Nice play there to force the flash out of Knight. They'll allow Weibo Gaming to go and take purchase in this top side river and go ahead and get these grubs for Breathe and Xiaohu. I'm sure they're more than happy to have.
Okay. Look, this time goes wide and Breathe.
Quite right. Hang on. Plated steel caps, putting in work. Here we go. Curtain call. Hang on.
Okay.
Right. Never mind.
He out over the wall?
It's Jover. It's John Bon Jover.
Yeah.
You guys won't get that. Both members of Prada are not from the U.S. Here we go. Fights coming. Root happening. On dead. Next target potentially going to be Elk here, but the traps are doing so much work. But so is the magical journey, but a teleport coming in from behind. It's dueling teleports, but the slows are so impactful. Tian is going to get rooted and stunned. Here comes the squad. Knight immediately looking for damage, but Xiaohu right in his face, trading back. Light on his way, has that bullet time as well. Curious on what angle he wants to take. Even he's not sure. He's going to magical journey in. He's the first one in. He flashes for the reposition, and the bullet time is perfect. And now Elk and Knight are in no man's land, but Crisp is low, and Blitz is here. The hook is in, and Xiaohu is dead. And Light's got to run for the hills, and Crisp ain't going to be able to help his buddy out. Light is dead, but he gets one back on the other side.
This is LPL, baby. We are fighting for 0 in the top side. It's just, okay, you guys want to fight? Hell yeah. Okay, let's do it. And it starts off with, I think, Breathe, first of all, just sort of tossing around and having a good little time. Was it Bin this entire time? He's just looking at his top side and going, what are you guys doing? Like,
Thank God I don't have teleport, so I don't have to join that crap.
Yeah, it's one of those situations you hold tab as the AD carry and then go, oh, well, I guess my top laner couldn't join.
Winning Bard Gaming with a question mark. Let's regretfully take a look at this replay.
Okay, so the replay starts, and it's a attempted flash dunk on this. They take down the Blitzcrank. They take so long to chase this, though. The Blitzcrank's able to rejoin the fight eventually. TPs are matched between the mid laners, and Victor has less distance to travel as well. So
picture. Hang on, there's a hook on the dragon. There's stuff going on here. Who's dying? It's Jace who's in trouble. And he will fall as BLG pick that one up. And
okay, back to the replay. Light takes a portal tap to immediately flash. And then Blitzcrank's back because they took so long to take this fight. And
now we're out of the replay.
We're going again.
Is caught. Shadow looking to survive to make it rain for the slope, but Xiaohu can't get there fast enough, and now teleport coming in from behind. It's a battle royale. Ultimate knocks him away, but Light is stuck. Bin is going to look for priority targets. He's on Tian. Tian has to go into 5 to try to get his mid laner out of there, and BLG, it's coming up all them.
BLG are coming out on top in the fights. It's the Blitzcrank pick that we all saw coming and that nobody really expected to be this powerful. In this situation, the first time maybe ever in the LPL, look who's got 100%
Get ready to speak replay, buddy.
It's it's the Elk Jin with 100% kill participation somehow in this game, with some really good deadly flourishes and the added tankiness from the plated steel caps, keeping him in these fights for that little bit longer. And again, we saw the majority of this start, but On found one hook onto Breathe, taking him down, finds a second hook onto Chris, they take him down as well. And then the Realm Warp comes in, but BLG are able to space this out well enough, and Bin, who'd been farming the entire first scuffle, is able to come in and make the difference in the second. Sejuani also picks up Light. It's an attempt to get the rest of the team out to safety, but Tian goes back in, he falls as well. And BLG now in a very good position. Their gold is very well distributed as well. The fact that Jin went for a plated steel caps has been offset by the fact that he got 4 kills.
I was just going to say, how illegal is that?
He got 4 kills with them, so clearly it was the right play.
He's throwing the boots. He's throwing his Tims. He's got the Timberlands.
Also, I need to go back to something. Do you think that we don't know who John Bon Jovi is?
I mean, I know he's like a very big star, but like, as someone from New Jersey, and the fact that I didn't hear any reaction, I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe these guys just don't know.
I don't know.
Listen, it wasn't great. I will admit, but I mean,
I
expected. Our producer laughs at everything. I expected him to at least chuckle a little bit. 14 minutes into this game, we have Herald up in about a minute, and BLG are looking to put this game fully out of reach. They're going to make a nice side lane play on the Xiaohu. This guy is toast.
Give it to the victor. Lovely stuff. And chat, we will take your hand and guide you through this game number 3. It does seem like BLG are on the way to victory. However, remember, this is big, long gaming. They will throw at some point. Something's going to go badly. And if this series is anything to go by, it will be instigated by the Blitzcrank, let's be honest. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find a way for Weibo to find their way back into this for a little bit. For a little bit, at the very least. I'm sure this game isn't done.
Here's the time for them to try. Has been not realizing he's going to get done. Oh, yeah, they're sending everybody, but teleports coming through. Tian, everybody was calling this play off, but Tian said, let's push forward. They're going to find Bin. Here's Shadow and Knight joining the party, and there's a big Arcane Storm doing a lot of damage. Stun on the other side of the fight. Breathe is dead. Knight has to flash away. Here comes the Realm Warp to get him out and maybe help out Chris. Elk waited, but he's got to flash up the wall. They turn it on to Shadow, take him out. Here comes the curtain call. Xiaohu trying to block for Light. Will be able to escort him out as Tian also escapes.
Oosh. Goes a little bit wide there. Tian might get hooked. On. Okay, never mind.
We got slowed. Unlucky.
Well played by Tian. And that was 2 for 1, 2 for 2. Top and support for top and jungle, I believe, if not mistaken. So even trade from Weibo, and a play that, again, Weibo initiated on that top side. They are able to take down the Renekton, and even are able to find Shadow as well. And the fact that they get out to safety there, honestly, pretty well done. Crisp here caught in 2 minds with this bard. Does he want to turn off the turret? Does he want to keep Bin rooted, locked up in place? And instead, use this Tempest Fate. I think he used it a little bit late. I was thinking he looked that onto 9 and then he didn't turn off the list afterwards. But you can see that the comms in this situation must have been hectic. Xiaohu finally realizes, let's just bail and try to get ourselves out of here. Chris does land a good stun, which means that Elk has to flash out to safety. The power of Sin's owls means that he's able to space out Knight and On. And a really good passing from Weibo as well. That duo of carries.
Oh, guess what? We got more fighting. Teleport coming in. He will be received by Bin as Weibo Gaming will just take the Herald that was generously leashed by BLG.
Okay. Second time for that one to happen. We saw it at the Baron in game number 2. We see it for the Rift Herald in game number 3. Is Bin once again the focus. All right. And everybody's coming top. It's the same thing again.
Healing quite a bit. They're going to focus this turret, but the stun is out. The turret will fall. And Tian always wants more. And guess what? They want all the smoke. All right, we do have a man advantage because Light can't link up, but it looks like BLG will once again back off. Guys, there's a dragon up. Can we not just have done the dragon?
You know, maybe they could have done. But that's not as fun as fighting for a tier 1 turret. So
looks like the scrims that I had earlier today is on. Hold on. On's getting caught out again. He's a super slow Blitzcrank. Anticipated the sidestep, so Chris did not land this time.
Sponsored by Manscaped hook right there, as On not quite able to make that connection. I'm not going to get the tier 1 turret either, and the Herald may be going down. There's an opportunity that they'll take it. We're riding it in as well.
We're going to ride it in. All right, Twitch chat showing up to the party. Yes, you are helping Weibo Gaming win this game. Here's Knight. He's in trouble. Bullet time is down and uninterrupted. It's good damage, but they don't get anything back. They will trade it and get Crisp. And here comes the curtain call. Trying to hit some priority targets, but Tian actually can't interrupt this Jin. He's mired in the muck, and he's 4th shot and dead. That's a double kill for Elk and Bin on the flank. Forces the flash of the Xiaohu, but he gets rooted. Another big play as Elk and BLG take over the fight.
And BLG just running amok as Weibo just get way too aggressive, trying to do far too much with that Herald. costs them a couple of kills, and gonna lose the dragon off the back of this as well. Bin didn't even take the turret in that top side. I think that's what he was waiting for and thinking, well, if he can hold fire, I can just take this turret without really any consequence. But Weibo charged this forward. They are 5 members strong. Crisp, again, really good ulti, catches Knight, but was able to put the Chaos Storm down, puts the Gravity Well down, walks out to safety, and then the saddest board portal you will ever see as he tries to get from one end of the turret to the other. Tian gets exhausted, so he can't walk in to knock up Elk, which is a dumbfounded effort to try and martyr himself for the team. And then when Bin comes in, he's already won the fight effectively by the rest of his team. So BLG quite happy to just take a couple of kills, walk their way out to safety. But let's take a quick look at where actual advantages are. Because overall, Yanni, this game isn't really that far departed from one another. It's just that Elk has a 2.5k gold lead.
He's absolutely massive, my brother. 7-0 and 6. Already on 2 items before 20 minutes. And those completed boots, you can't forget about those. We're seeing Weibo clearing out a lot of these awards. BLG, remember, Blitzcrank can always make it hard. Here's the pull in. Oh, the tempered fake and keep him alive for right now, but the stun not going to land. Tian getting forward shot, but he's still alive. Breathe frontlining right now, desperately trying to get away, but he gets stunned up, knocked up, and it goes down as the Realm Warp will try to get him out. Just need to be able to escort our jungler out, and they will be able to do so, but BLG will take more control.
Yeah, and I think Xiaohu here trying to find a way to fish out that mid wave. Won't be able to do it, and I think that BLG are going to look to try and focus this tier 1 turret down. Okay, bullet time used. Tier 1 turret won't fall, but now we don't have it for the attic on it, so he's in a competitive fight around that top side objective. Another skirmish that BLG are able to come out on top of, just the 1 kill, but Breathe actually signs his own death warrant there as he queues forward and doesn't really have the way to get back out to safety. No phase rush on this Jace. They're going to get spotted out here. Jammin takes the fortunate way back and spots him much in advance. But this game, this series, Yanni, you know what? If nothing else, I'm glad I watched it.
It has been at least an entertaining one to watch. You know, sometimes you really love watching high-quality League of Legends. And then sometimes some games aren't as high quality, but you watch them and you enjoy them for the entertainment factor.
I said this series Slayer last week.
Yep.
DRX's Worlds Run. Those games weren't the top level of League of Legends, but they were entertaining as all hell. This is another example.
Yep. And sometimes you just have to value the play for the entertainment.
Yeah.
Right now, I've been entertained, and I hope that you've been entertained as well. We do see that BLG with a near 4,000 gold lead, 21 minutes, up a lot of kills. But remember, BLG liable to throw over these last couple of games, and they're kind of looking at Otacon funny. They're looking at him like, really, guys, you really want to do the Otacon? Remember what happened last time? We played against AL. That's how we lost. I don't know.
And in their series versus top esports, Elk on the Jin was 11-1 and 13, so definitely knows how to keep himself safe on the Jin. And I mean, the fact that he's found, I think 14 kill participation, if stats we have here are correct. So 14 out of 15, he's not doing too badly for himself.
Yeah, not too bad. Shadow also having a pretty good game. You know, that Italian stallion showing up 2-2 and 12. Remember earlier, it wasn't that great, but again, he's just getting the job done on Sejuani. Yeah, it's not a 19.3 KDA, it's only a 7 this game, but I'm sure he'll take it all the same. And see if BLG can bring this one home.
Hey man, there's still time, you know? there's still time,
for them to mess it up.
Oh, well, I was saying for the KD to increase, but also Xiaohu might be in a little bit of trouble, whether or not they spot him. Ooh, okay, and I do want to quickly highlight, right, we talked about the fact that Elk is massive. That comes at the consequence of Light being decidedly tiny by comparison. And when a misfortune is tiny, you really feel it. You are heavily relying as Weibo on the rest of your side lanes, really, to come out thriving.
Well, almost going to look for that hook angle, but it went did not to. You see Shadow walk in here. He's going to take quite a bit of damage for himself. We're still waiting for an on-hook to hit a priority target. Good ultimate coming through, but the Temper Fate doesn't hit. Reed over on the side. Shadow is low. He's trying to escape, and they're trying to turn around on Chris, but they just can't. Now teleport coming in on the other side. Curtain call coming through. A lot of members blocking this. But do they want to turn around? No. It'll just be an escape Realm Warp as BLG continue to have control.
Okay, again, a couple of skill shots and not optimal League of Legends being played here by both of our teams. A lot of pretty colors, and ultimately nobody dies. which is really important. We've got the Atacon on that top side, so any small advantages that do go over in terms of numbers can lead into this bigger objective being taken down. Despite the fact that BLG have got a 4,000 gold lead, it doesn't really feel like they're able to push the tempo of this game nearly as quickly as they'd like, as actually it's Weibo starting up the Baron here. Remember that they've got no Tempest Fate, they've got no Realm Warp to get out to safety, and no Crescent Guard to keep their jungler safe.
Shotgun Otacon, let's see if they can take it. It looks like they win. No,
Oh,
stolen!
no!
It's stolen! Shadow shows up! The Italian Stallion cooking these guys like pasta as Xiaohu has nowhere to go. 2-0 for BLG.
It's a disaster for Weibo. It was a shotgun that blew up in their faces, and Tian, unable to secure the objective, gives BLG complete control now over this game. These fights have been so close, so frequently, that the Atacon could very well be the difference maker in these fights, in how these resets end up playing out. Just one proc from a death could very well be enough to turn the tides of a fight. Now they get the dragon as well, they'll push themselves to Soul Point. Maybe that's the final nail in the coffin.
And dude, I'm so proud of BLG. They found the perfect solution to their Otacon woes. Allow the other team to start it and just have Shadow steal it.
That's the win. That's what we take away from this. Well, let's take another look. Shadow, Q forward, yoink. That's a nice little smite, and I think Tian just, he autos, he just doesn't smite with it. Really good body blocking as well, you can see here, by BLG. I mean, even if Xiaohu gets through that portal, he dies regardless, but a nice idea from the BLG side to make sure that there's absolutely no chance that this Ryze is able to get out to safety, who's also having a pretty miserable game as well, 1-5-2, as this immobile mage is getting picked out by Sejuani ultis, by Renekton's, and by hooks with Stride Breakers and everything like that. So keeping our eyes on if this Ryze can ever scale into this late game is going to be really important, because there is no MF scaling, there is no Xin Zhao scaling. It's on Xiaohu most importantly, and then secondarily really on Breathe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we talk about like, hey, we got to 6 items and Light's bullet times are critting everybody, but I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look like we're getting the big long gaming in this one, because the Baron has been started up, now immediately pulled off.
And immediately we leave. Big long gaming. Okay.
They're just leaning into it, bro. They know that we're talking.
At any given opportunity, do with as little as possible. If they decide to take the Atacon, we'll try to steal it, don't get me wrong. Will we start a Baron for nothing? Absolutely not. No, no, no.
Maybe they're just waiting for this dragon, right? 3 minutes and 30 seconds. It's a long ways away, but
we're playing safe, Yanni. They're playing safe.
It would be so. Listen, with the way some of these recent games have gone for BLG, can you actually blame them?
No,
playing a
I can't. How about Weibo? We Baron Gaming, maybe.
We are, well, we die at Baron Gaming apparently right now, as Tian has been permafrosted. With Tempered Fate means that Tian is actually still alive, but yeah, you talked about it. Light's damage is in the negatives right now. I mean, he is almost healing these guys. Curtain Call coming out is going to slow up Chris. He has to flash away so he doesn't get permafrosted. Now do BLG start the Baron? This is like the people who drive like 30 miles an hour in the left lane. Like, you're just going too slow for your own.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. You see the left lane is where we're supposed to drive slowly. So that's
the left lane is where we're supposed to drive fast, especially here in New Jersey. Later on today, I will be in the left-hand lane ripping 75 to 80 miles an hour, and I will be having people pass me for going too slow. BLG looking to turn up the pace. We're pulling off. No, we're going back on. Okay.
I mean, they surely have to commit now. They've got a good 2-man doing this. It'll take them some time. Jin Sejuani, not the lethal barrel-taking duo that we're here, that we're looking for. I mean, Tian might die, actually, looking at the Knight's positioning. Okay.
Okay, we're good, finally.
Well done, BLG! Let's go! Now close the game. They have an 8k gold lead. They have Baron at their backs. They have a wave in the top lane, Yanni. What could go wrong?
Finish this one off. It is time. It is time to end it.
Wait, Yanni, should I do something disgusting?
Oh yes, let's hear it.
I'm gonna... BLG can't lose from this position.
All right, let's see them put that to the test. I think you might actually be right this time around. Temper Fate is going to land. And Elk not going to get stunned. Here's the Realm Warp. It's a fake out, though. They're going all the way, and here's the bullet time. It's a solid bullet time. They knock him out of it, though, is the problem. We see a couple of members down, and yeah, it's BLG not being able to lose from this angle. It's a 3-for-1 right now, and they're going to chase down and look for more members. Bin will wisely back off, but even Knight, we haven't talked about him a whole lot. So many assists, but that means he's big too. All right. Weibo just looking to try to survive, right? It's tough. It's tough right now. It is not a great time. 29 minutes into this game, BLG total control, 40 seconds until the last dragon. That should end the game. We do see a teleport coming in, multiple teleports in fact, because Shadow going to make good use of that summoner spellbook. BLG total control of the spot side, just getting down some of this vision here. So now sieging on this bottom tier 2. We see Elk and Bin on the way. Show for the rest of the team, this might be an opportunity for Weibo to try to do something, but they just have no idea where the rest of the squad is. They're making their last stand very, very soon. We see a teleport coming in on the backside for Breathe. Breathe is very quickly going to get spotted. He goes right on top of Knight, but he gets blown up himself. The Temper Fate's not going to be able to save him. They do get a double stun off of Bin. Gets on the Light. Arcane Storm's huge. BLG run over Weibo. The third game could have been an email, and they will actually put one away in a reasonable amount of time with a reasonable pace, looking like the BLG that we saw after game 1 versus AL last time out. 25 kills to 7 in a 30-minute game. Rujude, your thoughts now that this game has now ended?
This game literally broke my desktop app. Discord just decided to turn off. I still can't see it. Can you hear me? Am I good?
I can hear you, don't worry. I don't know if the people can hear you, but I can hear you. That's
the people
really
can hear me.
All
That's
that
the important
matters. As BLG does get the job done this time around. You know, it was 30 minutes. It's weird to say that the 30-minute game's an email, but when Baron spawns at 25 minutes now,
yeah,
30 minutes is the new 25 minutes.
It is. It's a very swift game, all told by BLG, and honestly, the on Blitzcrank did work. Let's be honest here.
Sometimes
it was set up for, but he did do well. He keeps his above 50% win rate, which is really important, and BLG took the series. That's what's important here, right? Like, they wiped the slate clean. They turned the game back around in game 2. And we said this needed to be a clean sweep. I tried as I might to say that BLG couldn't win that game, and they did it quite convincingly, let's be honest.
And you know what? You said they can't lose the game, and what do you think? They immediately got their Discord sleeper agent to shut you down. They said, no, we cannot allow this man to curse the cast. Shut his stuff down. Take him out.
They did, and they sniped me until they won that final fight. Until they were hitting the Nexus, they didn't let me back in. They were like, no, this guy cannot speak until the game is won.
Said, we can bring him back now. They just knew that we were going to need
those will be your last words, you know? They were after me.
They not only did they ace Weibo, but they got you as well.
Yeah, they got 6 people.
6-man ace, yeah. The Hexakill 6v5, like, well played from BLG. It wasn't super clean in the first 2 games. We had the long banger that they lost. We had the 35-minute condensed banger that they won somehow, but this game was a lot more clinical.
Yeah, and again, there were mistakes. There were issues on both sides where some skill shots aren't landing, where some decisions are wrong, and where probably the game could have taken a little bit longer had Weibo decided that they weren't going to throw their faces into BLG for 0 reason. But BLG took that in their stride, and they found the win, and they found the game, and they found the series, and I think that was really important, especially when we look at the situation that they're in, where they are probably looking like the best team in the LPL. They lose a series to AL, an absolute series that they should have won, and then they manage to, or then they lose game 1 up against Weibo, almost lose game 2 against them, but again, just push back well enough to find the series win overall. I think that that's really important, and I think that it means that their next series that they play has to be a clinical series for us to keep them as top one, as the best team in the league.
Well, Rudun, they're going to be put to the test because their next series is going to be against Top Esports on Sunday. This is going to be a nice heavyweight matchup, but what's going to be really interesting is that BLG is going to be coming in playing some of the worst league that we've seen them play in Split 3, which, you know, is saying something. They've been played pretty well in Split 3, but they've hit this really weird, rough patch, and maybe this win will cure it. You know, winning is the panacea, right? Winning cures everything. And, you know, maybe IG can snakebite Top Esports and set them on a downward spiral and make it easy pickings for BLG. But I imagine that Sunday match will be one that everybody's going to want to tune into.
Ultimately, right, nobody's going to go back and watch, or very few people are going to go back and watch this series past this weekend, right, and think, damn, BLG 2-1 versus Weibo, sure, yeah. They're not going to care how they played it and that it was a bit of a car crash of a League of Legends series, but we get to see that there are some great parts of BLG, some not great parts of BLG, and same to be said for Weibo. There are some great parts of Weibo, but equally there are some very weak parts of Weibo as well.
Yeah, and especially in this game, I really wanted to see them have a little bit more fight in them after the way the first two games went. It's kind of hard, you know, especially, you know, people don't really talk about like emotional exhaustion rate in game 2, like, you know, Weibo's like, oh my god, we can 2-0 this series, guys, and then just having the miscues causing a loss. It's so deflating. And, you know, it kind of looked like BLG were a little deflated in that second game for a little bit after things started getting behind after the way the first game went. But, you know, Weibo ultimately were not able to get the job done. And that puts them in a very weird spot here at 4-5. We talked about the whole strength of schedule. A win here would have done very well to potentially have them fight for the top 4 spot, but as of right now, they look like the 5th best team.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, this is going to be, they're most likely to be our 5th place team. I mean, just expectation, I expect these guys to end 5th at the end of regular season, which means that they're going to get their first pick of the teams from Group Nirvana, which probably means that they're going to skate through into the playoffs quite nicely anyway. But they need to be able to take games up against these top 4 playoff teams if they don't just want to get bottomed out and immediately lose their spot or chance at going to Worlds.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, luckily it should be pretty easy, you know, to get out of the first round or that initial play-in round because, you know, if you're 5th, 6th, you're playing against LGD or Thunder Talk. You know, these are teams that, you know, LGD we had a little bit of excitement for as a broadcast for a short time, and they've kind of fallen off the wagon. It feels like if you're 5th, 6th, you know, I don't want to call them scheduled wins because nothing is a given in the LPL, but these are the closest that you'd be getting to scheduled wins.
Yeah.
No matter how poorly things tend to go, you just need to make sure you stay in that 5th, 6th spot because I do not want to play against EDG or NIP from any of these teams, just in case.
Yeah, and this is where I cursed it and said BLG cannot lose this, and then Weibo said, no, I know they can't. Here, have Xiaohu flashes in, immediately gets taken down. Again, the flash was very confusing to me, and I was panicking watching all of this because I didn't know what was happening. But then this final fight, we just get Knight going crazy on a Victor, and I think Breathe going a little crazy as well.
Yeah, you know, I was very confused. I needed you here for that one because I was like, what the heck's this man doing? We got the flanking Jace. It felt like it was the last gasp, right? You know,
yeah.
You just had to do something, throw something at the wall, hope it sticks, find the best angle that you possibly can. But unfortunately, there just really wasn't an angle to be had. So, has your opinion changed on Weibo at all after seeing this series and the manner in which this best of 3 occurred?
I'm so familiar with Weibo's game right now, it's not even funny. Like, I can tell you exactly how a Weibo series is going to go before it happens. To be fair, I did say that this was going to be an 0-2 for BLG, or a 2-0 for BLG, I should say, and that Weibo were going to get swept. And that didn't happen. But I think that Weibo are going to be a team that just win their play-in series. They will lose one of the playoff games. I think they're our benchmark team, Yanni. They are the 5th best team in the LPL and no further.
And you know what? I think that's a perfect way to describe them and an okay spot for them to be in, to be honest, because it means you are still in striking distance when it comes time for like regional finals, as long as things continue to go well. Our player of the game is Elk. No surprise, he went 12-0-10. Really not much more to talk about. He beat them up with steel caps somehow, some way. Want to take the spotlight away from Elk, and just before we go and before we do our end messages, I want your opinion on BLG. Do you think that, you know, game 1 was a blip on the radar and even most of game 2, or do you think that this is a concern for BLG moving forward?
I think that for BLG that they should be fine. I think that they've got a little bit of work still to do. They're realistically, again, they just need to make sure that they make their ideas better before playoffs, because they're going to end up being in playoffs. They will be a top 4 team. And they just need to make sure that whatever's going wrong, that they fix before playoffs. This could very well be them trying something and them intentionally being like, okay, well, we're top 4 now. Let's try and test these things and see how they go. And then they can return back to what's happening. Obviously, I'm not privy to any information in the camp, but as long as they go back to what they were doing when they get to playoffs, I think they'll be fine.
Well, that game against Top Esports is going to be a very, very important one. All right, so we do want to give a big shout out. Before we do that,
to our leaderboard.
The shout out to the leaderboard. My bad. Here we go. There's our leaderboard. What do you think
BLG,
so far? Anything really interesting here? I think IGAL now being contested for the 3rd spot is a nice little shout. And AL on a 4-game winning streak. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's this middle pack still. So the fourth 5 cutoff is the interesting part. I mean, AL look like they are back in contention with, you know, Top Esports and BLG. They probably won't make it up there by the end of the season. Even if they win the rest of their games, the odds of BLG and Top Esports losing another 4 series is quite low. But for IG, it's whether or not they can stay the course as well. Can they stay in the top 4, or can Weibo try and push them out?
I don't think Weibo's going to be able to push them out. I don't know. It just feels like they're just a little too inconsistent at this point. I mean, we took a look at the strength of schedule earlier, and you know, they do have an easier schedule than a team like an IG. And, you know, probably a harder schedule than AL. So I think 5th is probably where they're going to stay, as you said, just by virtue of how things are. All right, now it's time for our actual shout-out. So we want to give a big shout-out to our Elite Coffee supporters, Aaron Soup Mung, Forest Without, and owners of a Silmaril. Their pledged financial contributions help us level up the broadcast and give back to the cast and crew who strive to give you an English LPL product every single day. And you know what that means, Rudu? That means we have more LPL English on the horizon. You and I will be kicking things off Saturday morning, JDG versus Team WE. And then Alk and Rafa will be taking the reins for the last 2 matches of our Super Saturdays. Ultra Prime versus Thunder Talk and IG versus Top Esports, which is sure to be a banger. You're not going to want to miss out on those ones. But that will do it for us here today. Big shout out to you, the fans. But big shout out to Rare Adam behind the glass. Big shout out to my co-caster, Rudude. And for us here at the LPL English family, we want to thank you all so much for being here with us today. And we hope to see you tomorrow for some more LPL action.